Good morning and welcome back to the Power of You Summit. I am your host, Phyllis King, where I'm speaking to 13 experts in the field of health, wellness, personal and spiritual growth. And today I'm speaking to Allyson Spellman, who is an award-winning TV personality, but more importantly at this point, a global animal advocate. And her current project is an amazing TV show called Rescue the Rescue, where I'll have her talk about what they actually do on the show, but it's an amazing project, and maybe you could be a part in some way. We'll talk about that during the show. Allyson, welcome to the program. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much, Phyllis, for asking me to be a part of this. I love the energy already. And of course, I love you. So it's all about really raising the collective, amazing goodness in all of us.
Well, you are too kind, and I know everyone is real busy in these times, and they only give their time to things that matter to them. So it means a lot to me. But before we get into talking about power and empowerment and the amazing tips I know you have for our listeners, I'd love for you to share a little bit of your story because you have been an empowerment expert and a leader in helping people unleash their inner wellness for quite some times, and you've done it through different platforms. And now your passion, of course, is this incredible television show, Rescue the Rescue. But how did all this come about?
I've always had such a love for animals on my heart. And I mean, even as a little girl, I'd always be the one to help the turtle across the street or bring home another stray dog or cat. And my parents getting so mad at me. Like, what are we going to do with this? But
Yeah.
it's always, I always have felt that that was really the calling on my heart. And it's
Yeah.
also really wrapped into empowerment and because I believe empowerment is also extremely tied to living your passion and purpose and accepting that calling, whatever that is for you, because we have different ones placed on our hearts, which I
Yes.
think is pretty amazing. Because if we all answer those calls, as we were talking about collective a moment ago, how that really does just all the puzzle pieces come together to raise the vibration and to just make this world of, like I said, collective goodness even stronger.
Yes.
Um, but it took me a while to realize that I could have a big impact on
Yes.
animals. And that has to come with truly committing to my passion and purpose. And I'd always help an animal in my path. I would never not do that. But then I was able to, because I've been very, very blessed with a career in the entertainment industry. And I kind of looked at that thinking, okay, yes, this is amazing to have a platform, but what am I going to do with this platform? I want to use it for good. I want to use it to really make a difference. And that's where it really clicked for me that you don't necessarily have to have this, huge following. Like our platforms are our neighborhoods, our friends, our families. Like there's so many ways that you can still make a difference. And I don't think there's any small difference you can make because it really is that ripple effect of change that adds up. And once I kind of discovered that I need to fully commit to saving animals, I often thought of the quote, and I think we've all seen it, and I might be paraphrasing a little bit, but somebody should do something about that. And then I realized I am that somebody. And that really
Wow.
clicked with me. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, because it's so true. We see things all the time, but if we just took it a step further
Mhm.
about how we can help, because if it is bothering your heart, if there is some kind of fire placed on it, there's a reason why. And that's really something that you should answer in whatever way you can. And sometimes I think we get lost on, well, what kind of difference can I make? It's pretty incredible how an individual can make an impact. And again, you start adding up all those individuals, and it is the most really powerful space of that collective energy.
Well, yes. And I love how you show us how each of us can make an impact and understand the calling of our own hearts and how we can follow that and how important that is. And as long as I've known you, you have just been one of the most authentic and shining bright lights out there. So you've brought that authenticity to everything you do. And now you have this beautiful television show called Rescue the Rescue, which is in production right now. Tell the audience a bit about that. And I guess also we'll people can get involved if they want. I know we have a lot of animal lovers out here, but what is this show about, really?
Yeah, and actually I'll get into what the show's about. I want to, as you were talking, it just hit me too. I'm like, oh, here's another lesson in empowerment and really, again, not only sticking to your passion and purpose, but the dream that is placed on your heart. And it comes down to timing. And I think
Oh,
we all want things on our timetable. And if we only knew the bigger picture and
yes.
what's waiting for us. And I think about that's wrapped into Rescue the Rescue because I've wanted to do a show for so long. I mean, honestly, decades about being able to help animals. And I pitched it a few times and there were no one taking bites at it. And then I was like, but I just can't stop. There's got to be more. So I kind of took and refined the whole concept of the show, which is, an overview is all my work in animal rescue, which has been years upon years. I've just come across the most amazing people, and I like to call them angels for animals. And they
Hmm.
are the people behind the scenes that on a daily basis are making such sacrifices that are so dedicated. They are the people that in the middle of the night get calls and they jump out of bed to go and help. Many work, three, four jobs in order to continue their work in rescue. And I mean, they are some of the most heroic people I have ever met. They've seen the worst of the worst and keep going. And of course, they've also experienced great joys. So Rescue the Rescue really gives light to their story while also helping rescue shelters and sanctuaries across the country with specific needs. So whatever they might need, we really step in and help them as well because most of these incredible places, I mean, let's face it, they're tired. They're
Yes,
burned
I'm sure.
out,
Yeah.
many times even feel hopeless. So we give them that jolt of joy that is so needed to continue their life-saving work. And, I kind of just really refined my concept and I pitched it and I found the perfect place to take on the project. Again, it's all about timing. It's all about timing, not only with the right people, but also timing within yourself, because I realized kind of along that journey that I needed to be in a different space personally than I was when I was first pitching the show. And I'm
Hmm.
more grounded and I'm more experienced and I can just bring a much different perspective to the show. So there's a lot of trust with timing outside sources, but also timing with yourself as well.
Yeah.
Uh, and then I pitched it. A great place called Little Studio Films picked it up out in Hollywood. That not only do they have a prestigious entertainment portfolio, but they also love animals. So
Yes. Isn't that remarkable?
it truly, truly is. So we shot our first pilot episode. It went really, really well. I mean, everything's just unfolded beautifully. And people can definitely get involved too if you want to donate, even if you want to also nominate a rescue shelter sanctuary in your area that needs some rescuing. We are still looking at upcoming places to support as we're filming our season.
Well, and I know what was amazing about that initial episode is you ended up helping someone to the tune of $40,000.
Yes.
That's an incredible influence on a small rescue center.
Yes, thank you so much. And we really helped them get their new spay and neuter clinic up and running. That was where they really needed a lot of rescuing because they, for the first time in their history, had to stop intake because the cost of spay and neuter due to corporations taking over veterinary clinics, they couldn't afford it. And so we were able to
Wow.
really step in and get a dream that's been on their hearts about 15 years in the making to be able to open this. And we were able to do that for them. So it was pretty, a lot of tears were shed, happy tears. And that's what it's all about. And I'm
Mhm.
telling you, it was the most incredible experience to be in there and it's kind of interesting too, because I chose, it's called Suncoast Animal League and it is in Palm Harbor, Florida. And this is also a pretty cool testimony too to how the universe works. I met the founder all the way back in 2016 when I was on Good Morning Tampa as a guest coming through. I would do all these guest spots all over the country, and I met him in the green room,
Oh,
and I was so blown away by. I mean, it didn't take me long to know that this is a true angel for animals that's dedicated his entire life, and he just has
yes.
that presence of someone that you just know is a true hero. So I've been following them ever since 2016 and I'm following the stories of many of their rescues. And I mean, it's just so amazing and full circle that here I was all these years later interviewing him and helping him, all because of that chance meeting, which wasn't really chance, actually. Let me take that back. It was all orchestrated, but
Yes, and nothing,
it's
kind
just,
of nothing is by
yeah,
chance.
exactly, exactly. So that was a pretty cool revelation to be able to have that moment.
Yes, absolutely. And as I listen to your story and hearing this project that, and so many of us have such an affinity for animals and that you're really boots on the ground doing the work to make a difference, that takes a lot of courage. That takes a lot of determination and, belief in self and ignoring naysayers and finding the energy to do things. So when we talk about power and empowering and this summit in particular, and, you know, how can someone, you've already given a few tips, but in about how we can listen to ourselves, but how do we find the courage? How do we find the strength? How do we look inside to, to tap into our power, to follow these are little dreams that can become bigger dreams?
I think it's honestly taking time every single day to get centered. Because when you are chasing your dream, unfortunately, there are a lot of naysayers or a lot of outside sorts naysaying, but let's face it, also inner as well. Like everything. I mean, I have so many different thoughts coming in like, okay, how am I going to do this? Why would anyone want to watch me do it? Why, am I going to have the time? Am I going to have the money? Is anyone going to like this idea? It's pretty amazing once you get on that roller coaster of thoughts, how it absolutely can paralyze you. And then couple that with any outside influence. So it's
Mhm.
very easy for a dream and a light of a dream or a huge spark of a dream to be put out in an instant. And
Yeah.
so for me, it was super important that I started my day for me in meditation, journaling, but also connecting to the why behind it.
Oh,
And that was
I love that.
really my fuel
Yeah.
is the why, because it's so much bigger than myself. And I
Yeah.
feel like if there is something placed on my heart, there is a reason why, way bigger than myself. And I don't have like shame on me for not committing to it or letting something else influence it. Like I
Yeah.
had to work through that to really commit and to trust the process. I think that's one of the hardest things is just
Yeah.
trusting. Again, how long is it? However long it takes is however long it takes. Like when it's
Yeah.
ready,
Yeah.
it's ready. That's
Yeah.
what I've discovered. When it's the time, it is the time. But you
Yeah.
prepare yourself constantly for that time to happen because when it
Yes.
happens, like watch out. It's amazing to have the floodgates truly open. But I
Yes.
think you have to center yourself. You have to connect to the why and find your ways of being able to not listen to any inner or outer naysayers, whatever that might be for you. I mean, for me, I have certain mantras that I just have to keep repeating, or
Yes.
I mean, as silly as it sounds, sometimes
It's
I have
not
to
silly.
visuals of like a thought comes in and I just kind of flick it off. Like I see my finger just going, nope, not today.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you just kind of have to discover your tricks of the trade, so to speak, to be able to do that. But if you really connect to your why, that's going to push you through.
Yes. Well, those are incredible tips, and they're more than tips because you've actually lived the process. So these are experiential, and I'm sure people can hear the authenticity and the texture and realness of those steps for themselves. Thank you so much for that. And so now, I think what's exciting is that because the rescue has some interesting opportunities for our listeners. I know many people probably would just like to donate because they know the money will be spent for these wonderful animals, or perhaps they might want to become a sponsor of the show, and there's some different opportunities for that. So, how might people get in touch with you to learn about how to donate or how to even become a sponsor if they really want to roll up their sleeves and get involved?
Oh, that would be amazing. We are so incredibly grateful. And I mean, sponsors are just completely in the episode as well and a true part of it. And if anyone wants to donate, again, incredibly grateful. You can visit rescuetherescue.com to see an overview of the show. And then from there, you can contact us. And then you can also contact me to learn more personally on Instagram, which is at Allyson, Allyson Spellman.
Well, that's amazing. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to be involved only because sometimes we don't know where our money's going. We don't know if the
Right.
organization is real, and I think a lot of people will want to make a difference or see how they can participate. So I guess in our final moments here, I mean, you've shared so much, which has been powerful. Thank you for that. Is there anything else you'd like to say about the rescue to the rescue or
Mhm.
empowerment or anything else you're called to say to our listeners?
I just think it's really amazing to be living your dream. And that's what Rescue the Rescue is for me. And it wouldn't have happened if I didn't look and be like, okay, I'm going to commit to my passion and purpose and see where it goes. Even though I had this dream for a TV show for a while, before that, I never had an idea of a TV show. I just had to commit to my love of animals and then follow. I think it's so important because we do have dreams on our heart to find the balance between how can I say, like, okay, think about driving a car. We have our hands on the steering wheel, and sometimes we have them so tight because we're like, okay, we're going this direction. But sometimes we have to learn to loosen up the grip a little bit and
Yeah.
let the journey kind of guide us. So it's a really, finding the delicate balance of not giving up your vision, but still being open to see where it could go in ways of other possibilities is very
Yes.
important to find that middle ground.
Wow. Amazing. I love that so much. Well, Allyson Spellman, you are a joy and an inspiration as always. Thank you so much for being here today. The show is Rescue the Rescue. Again, Allyson, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you as well, Phyllis. I'm very, very grateful. And thank you to everyone for listening.